This Fleet Equipment Unscripted interview is presented by Hendrickson, a leading manufacturer of heavy-duty suspension systems and components to the global commercial transportation industry. Visit hendrickson-intl.com to learn more.
Hey everyone, I'm Jason Morgan, Content Director for Fleet Equipment, and welcome to Fleet Equipment Unscripted. Today we're talking with Joe Hughes, Marketing Manager for On-Road at Michelin. Joe, thanks for taking the time. Great to see you.
Great to see you too. Thank you.
Well, Michelin has been on a tear this summer. You've released 3 major products across line haul, regional, and light truck commercial van. Lots going on there. What's driving all this? How does this reflect Michelin's strategy for the fleet market right now?
Well, so the strategy for Michelin is all about bringing as much value to our end users through innovation. We can think about that from some of the services we provide of how do we help you operate more efficiently. You can see where your tire spend is, what's happening with your tires, and helping you get back on the road quickly. But from a product's perspective, we try to bring in innovation that helps break down natural barriers or natural compromises in tire design to say, how can we get you more miles, better traction, and better rolling resistance all at the same time, bringing you even more value into the end user.
Right. Let's dive into that a little bit, because those 3 things that you mentioned about tire design, I at least in my experience, they kind of pull from each other, right? You can get in more than one and one comes away from the other. But a lot of these products here, you're boosting all 3 of those at the same time. How are you doing that in development across completely different applications and segments with, you got line haul, regional, and the light van segments here?
Yeah, and so where it all starts is starting by an understanding what customers need and what each of those different applications, what the usage is in each one of those. So line haul in particular, think of truckload going across the country. It's very straight, right? So they're on highways for long portions of time. And so irregular wear is really, really important to fight. So you have to be able to withstand irregular wear. But what they need is something that lasts a really long time, doesn't use a lot of fuel. And so the way that we design is to make sure that we can break down those paradigms like the X-Line Grip D, where we get 20% more miles and 20% better rolling resistance through innovations like our tread designs, our compounding, and our casing innovations. When you think about the regional sector, so that's like the X Multi Z2 that we launched this year, regional, like an LTL or a grocery fleet or something like that, they do need more miles, and maybe fuel is not as important to them, but robustness is. They need something. They're getting into tight turns at the end of their routes. They're getting into tight turns around urban environments, and then they're backing into really, really tight spaces to deliver those goods. And so I think that's going to stand up and withstand all of that abuse. And then the commercial light truck and van market is pretty crazy because it has like all of those usages all in one. So the other ones we talked like primarily usage. When you get to commercial light truck, it is really very many different, from mile delivery of delivering to your house versus somebody who is maybe an HVAC or a plumber, and they're coming to your home, but they're not necessarily making stop after stop after stop. They may be driving longer distances between stops. And therefore, when you design for that, you're really designing for long wear life. You're designing for robustness. And so we bring with our Agilis Cross Climate 2 tire that we launched this year, we bring in such as our curb guard technology. So that's an extra layer on the outside of the tire to really fight that curb scrub. But we also boost performance in terms of wear life by about 40% compared to the last generation. And that's all through innovations in our mold manufacturing and our tread compounding.
Very cool. I want to dig into the X-Line Grip D tire because you mentioned you've boosted both efficiency and durability, which I feel like is rare in the heavy truck segment. And also when the release came out, it was very, very intentional and specific in that this wasn't an evolutionary design, but really a fresh design. I'm not asking you to give away any of the secret sauce here, but can you tell me about was this a clean sheet design? What was the development process for this? How could it have differed from what you've typically done?
Yeah, and so this has been the better part of a decade. I think it's over 8 years in development, in multiple rounds of fleet trials. So actual running it on the road in fleets to see how the performance runs. But you're right, we did do a clean sheet. So we looked around our our design world. So, we design tires for ag equipment, aircraft, passenger car, light truck, a heavy truck, mining. We have all of those things handled. And so we can share design tips and cues and learn from our other vocations. And so in this case, we borrowed from the Cross Climate 2, which is a passenger car tire. We borrowed some cues from that and started looking at this kind of unique chevron tread design. And what we found was that gave us really good traction performance, especially late in life traction performance, such that when we tested the final version, it has a 90% better snow starting traction than the Michelin XDN2 tire, which is a massive improvement in terms of performance. And so what that allowed us to do is a lot of other things. And so we could space out our siping so that you didn't have to have as many sipes in order to get that traction performance because of that chevron groove. And we were able to lower our tread depth and pack in as much rubber as we had in the XDN2 in this new chevron design. So by doing that, we are able to make a much more efficient tread sculpture, both for wear life and for rolling resistance. So we have 20% better wear than the XDN2, and that's based off of studies in several fleets over years of testing. And also 20% better rolling resistance, which in some of our trials with our latest fleets, we've seen 1 to 3% fuel savings. Looking at like an MPG, which is sizable, and we're continuing to look at that to see how that actually transfers into real world. But those are some of the early results that we've been getting. And then on top of that, what we looked at was we're going to get a great first life out of this, but we know, especially in the trucking industry, retreading is really important. You need to be able to use that asset over and over, and so we came up with our DuraCore technology, which is our casing design for up to 1 million miles and up to 4 retreads. And so what we did to get to that was take our Infinicoil technology, which came from X1. So that's a circumferentially wrapped cord around the tire. What it really helps you do is limit the growth of the casing. And so you can keep that very tightly controlled. And so you get the same footprint as it rolls, helping you improve your wear performance overall. And it also helps improve the rolling resistance of the overall casing, which helps you not only in the first life do you have good rolling resistance, but now in subsequent life, so you have great rolling resistance as well. So it's a benefit that travels with you. And that really helps from the durability aspect because you're not working the casing nearly as much. And then the other technology we brought in that helps bring the DuraCore technology to life is called PowerCoil. And PowerCoil is our casing cable. And essentially what we did was we penetrated the cable with rubber. And so a normal cable will kind of act like a straw. And so any moisture or air will travel along that cable. And I'm sure people know in the industry that a common failure mode might be that you get a nail hole or something in the summit of the tire. And then if it's missed, moisture and air will travel along that casing cord and you'll end up having a rupture in the sidewall, kind of a starburst type rupture. Now, if you impregnate that with rubber, that can't happen. And so that water and that moisture and that air cannot travel anymore. And so we've effectively eliminated that failure mode, which is huge. And it sounds so simple, so small, but it took a lot of work from a lot of people here. We have experts in not only material design and tread design and tire physics, but we have experts on tire manufacturing and mold manufacturing. And so pulling together the mold manufacturing with our 3D metal printing that we're able to do, we can get very unique shapes in our molds and very durable molds so that we can continue to produce that same design over and over again. And then from the industrial side, being able to industrialize that ability to impregnate the cable with rubber took a long time to not make sure that you can do it one time, but to do it over and over again and give a very quality product to our
Right. Yeah. Or yeah. Awesome. A lot going on there. I do want to follow up on a couple quick things here because I don't want this to get lost. You said 1 to 3% potential fuel efficiency gain, right? Can you tell me a little bit about that? That's just with these tires in these positions, right? Is that across tractor trailer combination with mixed tires at different, you know what I mean? Different levels of efficiency there by just adding these tires? It's a 1 to 3% gain.
Yeah, so adding these tires, the X-Line Grip Ds onto the tire onto the tractor. So it's basically we've been following these tractors for months, and we see what it's pulling. So the trailer tires and everything could be changed, so it's in real world.
Right.
And MPG varies all over the place, right? But what we've seen over the short term is that type of improvement, and we're going to continue to follow it. It's not we're not done yet. We're going to see what it ends up at. We need probably about a year and a half to really see what that ends as.
Right. I still feel like that's a substantial gain just from the tires. I mean, you're often looking at multiple components on a tractor to get that kind of efficiency the way tractors are built now. So very interesting. On the retreading side, definitely hearing on that. Is that a message that resonates with fleets? Do you see retreading growing across long haul operations?
Yeah, I think especially in the current market with freight rates and everything being so low and have been low for a very, very, very long time, people are looking to see how they can stretch their the value of their assets, and so we're seeing more and more retreading. Retreading obviously is very predominant in the line haul industry today. You get so much performance for a fraction of the cost of a new tire. And so it's really important for the overall life cycle of the tire. And, we maybe not everybody's getting a fourth retread out of a tire, but what we have seen is we're starting to have conversations with people of maybe if you only retread, say your drive position one time with this new casing, you could retread to that drive position twice. And therefore you're getting even more value out of that because you're getting a drive retread a second time versus just putting it out and living it out on the trailer.
Very interesting. And Joe, great segue into my last question too, because I did want to take a step back. Everything going on in the market right now, lots of uncertainty. We've seen the heavy duty freight rates, new trucks. I mean, every metric that we cover go a little crazy here this summer. What else are you seeing maybe in terms of speccing trends on that tire side? How is this market impacting how fleets are making those decisions on the tires?
Yeah, it's a good question. It's something that we keep an eye on, obviously, and it's like I said in the answer to the last question. It's a tough market, and it has been for a while now. And so what we've been seeing, and with our partner fleets, you have kind of two different fleets. People are looking at very short term costs that long term will impact them, but we still have a lot of partners that are looking out for the long term. And so on the long term, you look at your assets or your tires as assets to help your overall operations. We still see a lot of partners looking and seeing the value of a tier one type product and getting that extra value not only in the first life, but multiple lives after that, especially as retread may become more prevalent, more popular. That value of having a casing that can last through multiple lives is of utmost importance.
For sure. Joe, hey, I appreciate you taking the time to dive into all the great stuff that's going on in Michelin these days. I'm sure I'll talk to you again very soon as you roll out even more.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.